Welcome back to Crazy X Podcast. This time, Roger and I watched Season 1, Episode 5, Josh and I Are Good People! Exclamation point. As always, we'll start off with a synopsis. While out for boba with Josh at what I now call the Boba Hut, Greg tells them they are both terrible people. She elects to represent Daryl in his divorce and help him get primary custody of his daughter Madison, only to get Greg to admit that she's a good person. But when winning temporary custody doesn't work, Rebecca spirals and tries to frame Madison's mom, Stacy, for a crime. Realizing that she's seeking validation from Greg, Rebecca helps Daryl and Stacy negotiate a joint custody agreement. Josh, who was on his own journey to be a good person, tells Rebecca that he's attracted to her, but is committed to Valencia. Rebecca, of course, only hears the first part. Roger, what do you think of this episode?
I didn't mind it. I asked this question, I think, in the first episode, like, is Rebecca a good person? And this conclusively answered my question. You get a lot of insight to who Rebecca really is. I think I liked that you got more Josh, like, not just Josh being the attractive ex-boyfriend, but you actually got some depth with him. Honestly, I think I liked it. You?
Yeah, I like this episode. The songs in this episode are not my favorite, which is often my favorite part about an episode.
I thought both songs were very subpar. It's actually one of my dislikes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what I generally don't like country songs. There's some funny stuff about the song, and the other song in general is sort of funny, but I think we got that Rebecca was trying to be a good person without the song.
It reminded me, the second song, of I Have Friends. I kind of already got this. It didn't help me in the way that Settle For Me helped it, or the Getting Ready song where you were just oh, this really illuminates the point.
Yeah. I also love Paula in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
The B plot is excellent.
Fantastic. Actually, is that the B plot or is Josh the B plot?
I think Josh is part of he's A2, because it's part of the I'm a good person. It's just Josh's journey of I'm a good person.
Yeah. Okay.
And the title of the episode is Rebecca.
Josh and I am good for people. Yeah.
All right. Well, Greg was amazing in the opening scene here.
That is the Greg I need going forward, please. I know it won't happen, but that Greg who just drops a truth hammer to start the show, and he lights into both of them, 100% correct. I love it when you get a character who finally just calls people out on their fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Everything he says is factual. And, the best part is that Josh and Rebecca act like they're the victims here. What do you mean? I'm not doing anything. Call Valencia right now and see if you get in trouble.
Yeah. And you do get a lot of interesting insight into Rebecca's character here, because we get that little flashback in her mind of when Josh says, "No one's ever talked to me like that before. No one's ever called me a terrible person." And Rebecca's like, "Me neither." And then you get a flashback of her mother telling her she drove her father out of the house and she's a terrible person.
Oh yeah. By the way, when I asked, I think in the first episode, is Rebecca's mom a terrible person, and you said she's complicated. That discussion is now closed. If you look at your child and say that she's the reason daddy left, I don't give a shit what happened to you, you're a bad person.
Yeah, that's fair. That is so fair. I also love that the lead-in, the Greg is actually not the first part of the episode. The first part of the episode is Rebecca walking through the park, and that woman, Joyce, that's experiencing homelessness, asks her if she has any change. Experiencing homelessness?
Huh.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
I never heard that before.
Okay. You can also say unhoused. That works too.
But I can't say they're homeless.
That's technically not the way you're supposed to say it anymore.
Huh. All right.
But she has any change, and Rebecca says, "Oh, sorry, I only have 20s. I get them from working."
Great line.
Yeah. Wow, Rebecca.
But, does that surprise you? Considering who her mother is?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
I did not organize my notes in a way that makes sense here. Yeah, this whole episode is just Rebecca being worried about Greg knowing that she's helping someone rather than actually helping someone.
It's interesting because this is probably the only time I think she's ever really pursued Greg.
Pursued Greg's validation.
Just pursued Greg. Like,
yeah.
The target here is for once not Josh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she's obviously still in love with Josh, still wants Josh, but like she's actually trying to like win over Greg's validation. I'm not really sure why.
Well, I mean, she very clearly outlines that when she figures it out at the end of the episode.
But why is it specifically Greg? Because like the external validation, that point makes sense. But why is it like if Paula said she was a bad person, would she have gone into this tailspin as well?
I mean, Paula doesn't directly say you are a bad person, but Paula says, who cares if you're a bad person?
I know. But what I'm saying is if Paula said, like, yeah, you are a terrible person, would she have also lost her shit and needed to prove to Paula that she's not a terrible person?
I would say probably, but I think the thing is that Greg is right, and that's why she's trying to prove to Greg.
Of course Greg is right.
But I think, like, inside Rebecca knows that, which is why at the end she, like, realizes, oh, I have chosen the person that told me the right thing to do as the person that is the arbiter of what I should be doing.
Because, like, Paula has definitely, like, for example, been like, oh, yeah, you're still on this I didn't move here for Josh lie, but, like, it doesn't send her into it. She just keeps going about her way.
Yeah.
For some reason, when Greg calls her a terrible person, that just, like, breaks her.
Well, she knows that she did a terrible thing to Greg.
True.
And she, like, wants him specifically to know that she wants him to forgive her.
Yeah. Because she does a terrible thing to Paula, but then, like, she gets over it.
Yeah, but Paula also gets over it.
Oh, Greg did not get over it. That's fair. I see. So she can't handle somebody else being angry at her for a thing that she did to them when she's wrong with them.
Yes. Because she seeks external validation from, what did she say? Low self-esteem, a lack of maternal affection, and a genetic predisposition for depression and anxiety.
Wow, I did not think you were going to go there.
Remarkably self-aware for a person that does all of these things.
For someone who's not self-aware at all, remarkably good at self-diagnosis.
Yep. How can she be so self-aware, but so not? And then Greg also very rightfully points out, this is a family that you're messing with here. Like, do the right thing. Don't just do the right thing so that you can prove to me that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think the part about it that's so bad is that she's using a little girl as a pawn. Like,
yeah.
I know you said she's complicated, but I'm like, that's not really complicated. That's just evil.
I mean, it also, based on her experience, that is how you use children. She herself was used as a pawn.
That makes it so much worse. You know exactly what that feels like. I mean, I know abusers, people who are victims of abuse, but like, damn.
Yeah.
She's a very selfish person. That's like the best thing I can say about her.
Mm-hmm. She's definitely very selfish. And she's really, really good at, like, rationalizing. What I did wasn't Hitler level or anything.
Which is what most bad people actually do. Well, yeah, I beat the crap out of you, but, like, I didn't murder you. So, like, it's not that bad.
There's also, like, so many small instances of things that aren't, like, really a big deal, but are also showcase that I like how selfish she is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she orders the mint chocolate chip ice cream for Madison, which, like, I feel like mint is a pretty particular flavor that a lot of children do not enjoy. I have to assume that Rebecca's favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip. And then she eats it, and Madison is just, like, so offended. She's like, that's my ice cream.
I don't know any children who appreciate toothpaste as a flavor, and a lot of people think mint reminds them of toothpaste.
I love mint chocolate chip, but I get it.
You've also been an old person since, like, birth.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like, most people really like sweet things when they're very young. I don't think...
Mint chocolate chip is sweet.
No. Like, raspberry, strawberry, sweet, not...
Raspberries are definitely less sweet than mint chocolate chip. Raspberries are sour.
More flavorful, how about that?
Okay. Yeah, and Paula is not, like, feeding into Rebecca's... Paula's just like, this doesn't matter. Stop asking me about this. You are not a terrible person. Greg is a whiny little bitch.
No, but didn't she say, so what if you're a terrible person?
Being a good person... She says, you are not a terrible person, I guess, because I wrote it down.
Yeah. She also kind of knows Rebecca is a terrible person. She has to.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be engaged in a plot to steal somebody else's boyfriend and then not think that person's probably a terrible person.
Josh is on his own journey here.
Oh my god, the Josh side plot was
Father
amazing.
Brah?
Father Brah might be my favorite priest in history.
I think one of my favorite quotes is when Josh is describing, like, I have this girlfriend and I love her, but I'm also attracted to this other person. Like, they have two things going on in my brain. And Father Brah's like, two things are a lot for one brain.
For a Josh brain, that's like...
It's too many things. Let's take this to a higher court. The basketball court.
First off, Father Brah can ball. His jumper was buttery. Appreciate that. Like, I would respect a priest who can hoop like that. Second, he actually gives him solid advice while kicking his ass on the court. Like, that's good multitasking right there. Like, it's good. It's good.
And I love that his basketball team is called the Disciples.
Playing the chosen ones. I mean, you just... So that is... I do like that Josh got some depth. Like, one of my favorite parts of this season is that, like, Josh got to be more than just the object of Rebecca's desire.
Yeah, Josh is a person.
Now, he's not a very deep person.
Yeah.
He's about as shallow as the kiddie pool.
Well, just you wait, Roger. The next episode, we get to meet all of the Chans at Rebecca's first Thanksgiving with Josh.
I suspect this might be where one of your guys' favorite songs with the I Good Give Good Parent comes from.
That's correct.
Yeah, like, I think when he describes Rebecca, he's talking about, like, her brain, her boobs, her body, her boobs. There's not a lot going on below the surface.
Although
level.
he does say that one of the things that he likes better the most is she's the only person that believes in him.
Yeah, but that's potentially binary. Like, Valencia probably treats him like he's stupid, which he is. Mm-hmm. Whereas, so the thing is, does Rebecca believe in him?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's hard to say. I think because
we've seen her help him get that job at basically what looks like Best Buy mixed with some sort of tropic Bahama breeze.
Yeah.
But she doesn't let him do the application.
Well, he asked for her help with the application.
Sure. If I said, Chelsea, help me with this thing, you wouldn't just do it for me. You would assist me.
That's correct.
So she definitely didn't think he was smart enough to fill out a job application.
And she wasn't smart enough to fill out her job application in a normal way that might get someone a job.
Well, yeah. Rebecca does not understand normalcy, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, like, does she really believe in him? Because we haven't gotten to see Rebecca interact with Josh when she's not pursuing him, and those are different things. Because, I mean, obviously you're going to flatter someone and do whatever you want to get in the good graces when you're essentially chasing them, but I wonder how she treats him when he's not, like, the goal.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, maybe she would treat him just like Valencia does.
Maybe she would. Returning to the A-plot. Okay, so I ultimately think that, like, figuring out a custody arrangement that works for everyone is a good idea.
Yeah.
Although, what Stacy does is actually kind of terrible.
Which time?
Leaving her child at home alone.
Yeah, how does that like end? I don't even understand how that doesn't end the case.
Yeah, I mean, I guess every state has a different law about how old you have to be alone, and some states don't have laws about it at all.
There is at an age level, I'm pretty sure. Like, you can never leave a 2-year-old by themselves. I
looked this up recently. Yeah, I guess that would definitely be considered. I think, but it's less about, like, an age limit and more about, like, child endangerment.
Sure.
So if Stacy could prove that she's if they don't have a law about how old you have to be, if Stacy can prove that she's mature enough not to be in danger when she's alone, then that, like, would solve the issue. Obviously, like, no one would agree that a 2-year-old is old enough to be alone and not be in danger. I also love that neither of her parents knew that she had a YouTube channel about her snails.
Yeah, no, that's real.
And despite the subpar, semi-creepy song, Daryl really does care about his daughter.
Yeah, so semi-creepy only because standards and practices jumped in. So I looked this up because I always like looking the songs up. And the song initially was going to basically be about Daryl saying a bunch of double entendres that make it sound like he's a pedophile. And then they smartly realized that probably making pedophile jokes is not the way you go here.
They did let them keep in, I'm very careful where I tickle my daughter.
Yeah. So...
yeah.
There's that. Yeah, I mean, that's not my genre of music. I get what they were going for, because it was... The best part about that were the stock...
Oh my god, the stock videos of the girls in the fields with the flowers and the horses.
And because at first I was like, is that the daughter? And then I realized the girl kept changing. I was like, oh, this is literally just generic, which... I'm not a country fan, but is that what happens in country music videos? It just
seems like what all country music videos are, yeah.
There's a horse.
I'm also not a country music fan, so...
Yeah, I don't know. If Earl Had to Die was set to this, that wouldn't shock me. I only know that because I was recently talking about that with someone that's a country song.
It was me.
Okay, I was talking to someone before I was talking to you, and then apparently I then did also talk to you. That's it. It was me. Ah, okay. Well, you were that person.
Mm-hmm. I'm a good person, Roger.
Say it, I'll cut his throat.
Got him like a fish.
Whew.
Okay. Anything else in the A plot you want to talk about here?
Okay. So, even we went a bit off the path with the whole kid. Okay, fine. There's age limits that differ. The moment we found out the kid was playing on the stove because mommy left you alone to go have sex with her boss, you lose. Like, that's just the end of the case.
I also think that there's something, like, truly horrific about how on earth did their child figure out not only where she was, but who she was with? Like, did she read her text messages on her iPad?
I mean, it's probably not that hard. Like, a lot of people think kids are dumber than they are. So
That's really true.
I'm sure they picked up on, like, mommy goes and hangs out with her boss all the time. Like, she probably doesn't know they're having sex, but she knows they go to a motel. Also, why was she wearing that god-awful... Like, so it's weird. When they wanted to make her look like the vicious, evil mother, they have her wearing this, like, whorish-looking leopard dress.
Yeah. But what is her job that she gets to go to business trips in the Grand Cayman? Is she, too, a lawyer?
I don't think so. And also, yeah, what business trips do you have in the Cayman Islands that's not some shady shit? But, like, then when they want her to be just, like, a normal mom, then they dress her like a normal human being as opposed to this, like, ridiculous leopard print. Which, like, I get if she was going out clubbing, but it was the middle of the day.
Going to a hearing about custody.
Who wears that to a custody? I know it was an emergency hearing, but, like, you were just wearing that during the day? Like, I'm assuming she was on the way to her boss's house, is what my guess was.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But yeah, like, that's the end of the case right there. Like, I don't understand why it's not granted full custody, you're a negligent parent. Because, yeah, okay, you don't know your kid has a YouTube series is one thing. You left your kid alone to go bang out with your boss while they played on the stove. You can't be trusted. Sorry.
Yeah, also, why wouldn't she just ask Daryl to watch her? I feel like he would.
She didn't want to tell him that she was banging out her boss.
While they're getting a divorce?
She's been doing it the entire time.
Well, right, but before, presumably, Daryl lived in the house with them. And
well, they're still
wasn't
married.
Happening before, I guess.
So I didn't think she wanted to admit the adultery. That usually doesn't favor well in custody hearings, for example. Yeah.
Anything else on the A plot?
Yeah, okay. Rebecca then plants money.
Yeah.
Rebecca has always been shown to be many things, but not a bad lawyer.
Yeah, I don't know, like, how did she think of that so fast?
Fact. And why did she feel that she had to go there?
I don't know. Like, yeah, couldn't they have just used the same information that she already had? Like, she could have looked up more evidence about the danger to Madison.
Also, I think she said that's a felony.
Yeah.
So she was going to put her mother in jail. Wow. Like, I don't think the mom's a good woman, but I don't think she deserved to go to prison.
I feel like I missed it because we were talking, and maybe you missed it too. But also, Stacy kept the money to buy a hot tub.
I mean, I'm going to be real with you. If you put $10,000 in my suitcase with the attempt to frame me, you lost that $10,000. Yeah. I think I earned it.
Yeah.
And also, like, what are you going to do? Report it to the police?
Yeah.
Thanks, I got a new hot tub.
I also loved Stacy's, like, total takedown of Rebecca. Like, do you have kids? Like, of course you don't. Like, you don't know how hard this is.
Which I feel like would be more relatable if the things that we heard about Stacy doing weren't so ridiculously pathetic. Like, I get it. I'm not a parent. I understand that being a parent is very difficult, but, like, I'm not feeling sorry for you that it's so hard to be a parent that you had to go bang one out with your boss while leaving your kid at home.
Also...
Like, dating? I get it. Sure.
If she's going to business trips in the Grand Cayman Islands, like, can't she just pay for a babysitter?
Especially considering, you know, she obviously is doing well. Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. So, like, I'm just shocked that they had Rebecca be kind of a dumbass lawyer here.
Yeah, she's usually a very good lawyer.
Yeah, and she wouldn't incriminate herself like that. Like, she just... like, it was nuts. But yeah, she ultimately does come to the correct conclusion in the end, which is just work it out, you two. Which I'm surprised that Whitefeather and Stacy couldn't just figure that out. Because were they that... I mean, they must have been in a really bad place.
Yeah. And actually, that is... like, I feel like the normal thing to do would have been help Daryl win custody through a normal court process.
Yeah.
But this is, like, an even better solution, actually, where they're, like, figuring it out together.
They're co-parenting.
And they're not asking Madison to say horrible shit about her mother.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. They basically used the daughter to find out info.
Daryl tries to stop Rebecca for, like, a second, and then... he's like, okay.
Well, she just steamrolls him.
Yeah.
Like, he does say, like, I don't think we should do this. And he's like, shh. And then once they get the info, they're both like, oh, I win.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's pretty ugly.
I mean, it is... asking a kid what they want is
Fine.
not bad.
Nope.
But the, like, let me help you get what you want by telling me terrible shit about your mother. That's a problem.
I mean, they basically used the kid to incriminate the mom.
Yeah. And it worked.
It did, but it's just kind of one of those, like, I don't know, you shouldn't be putting the kid in the middle. Like, that's... And Rebecca, of all people, knows how bad that is to be put in the middle.
I did love that shot after she says that her mom is sleeping with her boss, and both Daryl and Rebecca just look, like, horrified.
Well, I thought... No, I didn't think it was horrified. I thought they just, like, jackpot. Like, it was like, we win.
I don't know. I was thinking more, like, yeah, they win, but also... I think that they weren't expecting her to say something so fucking terrible.
I know. I think I guess the way I read it was that, like, they weren't really sure that they were gonna win, and then when she dropped the bombshell, it was just like, oh shit, we win, like, it's over. Because then she immediately calls the custody hearing, and it's like, yeah, it's game, like, ball game.
Yeah. All right, B plot. Paula at the office.
So we are introduced to two new characters who I don't recall seeing before. I don't remember Tim, and I don't remember the drummer, black guy.
Daryl. Jim.
Jim. Don't remember either of those two. Have you seen them before?
I feel like we've seen Jim before because I remember you saying it's the don't be a lawyer guy.
Maybe.
But we definitely have not had they may have just been in the background in the office.
Yeah, that's fair.
Previously.
I don't remember interacting with them for sure.
Yeah. So these are other lawyers that work at Whitefeather.
The Canadian is a dick. Jesus.
Tim, yeah. Tim is a dick.
Wow. Like, unnecessarily a dick. Like, I get it if it was like a back and forth between the two of them, but he's just a dickhead.
They're also just acting like such children. It's like, you're at work. Do your job.
Well, I mean, like, we played with Nerf guns at work before. That's a thing.
While you had stuff to do?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah. Have you ever cut class, Chelsea?
Yes.
Did you ever cut class in high school?
Yes.
No way!
Yeah. Twice, I think.
To do what? If you say go study for a different test, I'm going to be very
We went
angry.
to Dairy Queen.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
We did have permission from our teacher.
Okay. So, this is on me. When I meant cut class, I meant didn't go to class without permission to skip it. Have you ever done that?
I think I participated in senior skip day. Which is technically not permission. They do not sanction it, but everybody else was doing it.
So no, is what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that.
I skipped a few classes in college.
Well, you were an adult then.
But not very many.
Yeah.
Even my 8 a.m. nutrition class.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a rule follower.
I'm a rule follower. As is Paula, apparently.
As apparently is Paula. Yeah, the Tim character seems unnecessarily hostile.
Yeah.
Now, was this I'm a lawyer, she's a paralegal, so she's my bitch type situation? Or is she just a dick? Like, I'm not clear on that.
I think it might be a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, they certainly don't talk to Rebecca that way. Like, they're actually, like, kind of afraid of Rebecca. Like, Rebecca apparently is in charge.
Yeah, Rebecca organized the whole thing and was like, right, Daryl? And he was like, sure.
That sound good? Sure. Like, I think she puts Paula in charge.
She does put Paula
So maybe
in charge.
is she, like, the head lawyer besides Daryl? Like, she's the number 2? Which would make sense.
But she's not a partner.
Are there partners?
No, well, currently no.
Maybe
Daryl is the sole owner.
So maybe she is.
But if she's not a partial owner, she's not in charge of anything.
I mean, unless he said she's in charge, like if she's the vice to his president. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, Paula seizes power.
Yep.
It was great.
A little aggressively.
I mean, it was justified. I liked especially the breaking of the Nerf gun over the knee. I thought that was a good assertion of domination right there.
And it's trying to wrestle the gumball machine away from Karen.
Oh, yeah.
Karen is like...
What is with Karen?
I don't know. And Paula's just like, just stop talking. Just don't say anything. Go do your job, Karen.
So she says you passive-aggressive something. I couldn't figure out, does she have, like, Munchausen's? Or are these things real?
I don't think the passive-aggressive has anything to do with the hypochondria.
Is she a hypochondriac? Like, what... Like the snake thing. Is the snake thing even real?
Yeah, she seems like a narcissist, for sure. Like she's like overly concerned with her own problems over everyone else's problems, even things that are not real problems.
Yeah. Narcissism is just the courage to put yourself above others.
Karen has the courage.
She has the courage.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Karen.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an odd bird. I've seen her in other things, and she's usually crazy in those, too.
I still can't believe that they let them do a mini YouTube segment about a menstrual cup.
I wish Standards and Practices had not let them do that. That was disgusting.
We talk about a lot of disgusting things, but for some reason we're not allowed to talk about periods.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the problem here. We could just not
talk about it. It's a normal thing that happens to us all the time.
To y'all.
Yep.
I don't need to talk about it. Doesn't happen to me. There are other things I'm okay with us not talking about. Like, we don't talk about sperm and ejaculation all the time. You know what? That's okay. I'm okay with not talking about that. I know there's a song about sperm in this show.
My sperm is healthy.
Oh, my God. Unhinged is the word that I would use to describe this show.
And then Paula discovers that Tim is... He does not have a real visa because, of course, Daryl didn't notice. Because Daryl and Tim met at a strip club, apparently.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
There are a lot of things about Daryl that are weird. Not that going to a strip club is weird, but going to a strip club does not seem like a thing that Daryl would do to me.
I mean, think about a man who's found out his wife is leaving him.
Okay. I could see that.
Not like unreasonable, like kind of like as you used to say with Dr. Well, you could want to drown your sorrows in booze and women.
He's also a pushover, so if somebody else was going, he would go.
Daryl, we're going to, like if Rebecca said we're going to a strip club, he's going to end up in a strip
club. One of my favorite lines is when Tim says, Paula, I need this job. I alienated everyone at my firm in Winnipeg. She just says, shocking.
Which is the second time we hear that, or not the first time, but we hear shocking as a response to something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Paula in charge of the firm is exactly what needs to happen. She's like the only sane person there.
Yeah,
relative to the other people.
She cleans up. She knows everything about the office, and she's the only one that works.
And she whips them all into shape instantly. Mm-hmm. It's great. I think I put Paula seizes control and puts the lazy associates in order. I'm like, yep, that's what needed to happen.
I also love when she smacks him down, even after she decided not to turn him in, when he says, "You're not going to turn me into the federales." And she says, "Don't pretend you have the actual plight of an immigrant, you dickweed."
He says the federales, and I was like, do you think you're going to Mexico? You're going back to the land of free healthcare. Like, calm down.
And nice people.
Yeah. I do like when he talks about how he's tried to hide his long O's and pretend he didn't like hockey.
It's been torture.
It's been torture. No, I thought the B plot was really good. I did enjoy that.
I agree.
More Paula, please.
I'm
sorry, more Paula separate of Rebecca, please.
There's also a reprise of "I'm a Good Person."
Yeah.
Which is "You're a Good Person" as sung by Mrs. Hernandez.
Sung and subtitled by Mrs. Hernandez?
Yeah. Which is maybe really just Paula, like, rationalizing herself.
So what I was curious about, like, because the songs we know don't really take place in reality, that also didn't take place in reality.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But we know Mrs. Hernandez is capable of weird shit because she does the parkour.
Yeah, also the way that, like, it could... I often think of the songs as, it's a conversation that's occurring, it's just not occurring in song. So, like, it also could have just been Mrs. Hernandez saying things and then song occurring.
Well, like, when Rebecca sings "I'm a Good Person," that's not a conversation that's happening. That's just a fantasy in her head.
That one is definitely just a fantasy in her head, because you can see, like, it happens as she walks in and she's standing in the same place. But a lot of them, like, Settle For Me,
is a conversation.
It's a conversation that Greg doesn't quite remember that way.
Nope, he does not. He does not remember that. Yeah. Or Daryl is having a conversation with Rebecca about how much he loves his daughter.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we jump into favorite moment?
It wasn't Greg, it was 10. We talked about this. I thought the two songs were very subpar. Like,
yeah, I agree.
It was not a particularly... I also didn't particularly care for the end where, like, Josh actually opens up to Rebecca, and Rebecca basically just tunes out everything but "I'm attracted to you."
It's on brand, though.
It is, but it's like, kind of like my complaint was last time, like, at some point she becomes enough of a bad person where, like, it's one thing when it's Regina doing this, it's another thing if this is Emma. Like, the good character should kind of have some redeeming qualities, and this was an entire episode of not redeeming qualities, shall we say. I guess the last thing I would say is that Greg kind of forgives her, but not really. He seems too smart to not understand that nothing he does is going to ever bump him above second place to Josh.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that I would use the word forgive.
I know, it's like kind of like, I don't understanding, like, however you want to phrase it.
I think he also, like, realizes that, like, she did figure it out and do a good thing, and, like, that was a good thing that he should recognize.
But it doesn't change what happened between them.
No, it doesn't, and he says that.
He says that, yeah. Because I don't... Like,
I mean, he likes Rebecca.
Sure.
Like, she looked sad, and he likes Rebecca.
I like ice cream. If it made me shit my pants all the time, I'd stop liking it at some point. Yes, that's just how things work. Or if it gave me obscene amounts of pain, right? Like, at just some point, a thing that hurts me.
I don't know, I still eat beans. They don't make me shit my pants, but they do make me fart a lot. Maybe I would feel differently if I shit my pants.
It's that next level. Mm-hmm. Let's do some lines before we go to our moments.
Okay.
We already talked about the one, "I only have 20s, I got them from working." That's an amazing line, though. I love when Greg is in sassy mode. So he comes up and he goes, "Oh, I'd ask you how you are, but I already know. You're terrible."
That's one of my favorite lines.
Great line.
Favorite moment, for sure.
Greg later says, "Okay, bye, bad people. Liars and terrible." Like, he's just throwing, like, it's almost like Regina and Cora, like, where just barb after barb after barb. And then I think the favorite part of it was one of Rebecca's lines, where it's like basically the entire episode. "Do you forgive me yet?"
Yes.
Oh, that was the piece we did not talk about. Did she, honest to God, say, "Oh, this is about sex, let's just get after it right now"?
Yeah, that's one of my most ridiculous moments, which is why I didn't bring it up. But yeah, Rebecca thinking that having sex with Greg would make him forgive her. And not caring that that's, like, what she would need to do.
I don't even know what to say to that. Oh, that's the problem. Well, we can just, like, and she's, like, taking her clothes off. Like, I think she was really willing to have sex with Greg.
She absolutely was. And Greg is like, stop, stop.
That's so unhinged that it's hilarious, but I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it's really unhinged. I agree.
Like, what would it take for you to just be like, fine, I will just have sex with you if you forgive me? Like, I don't know that that's a thing that I could... Like, I don't even know.
It's like the next level of, like, that episode of Friends where someone sees someone naked and then they're like, it would be better if I saw you naked too. But seeing someone naked and having sex with them are not the same thing.
No! Like, you could... Yeah, I mean, that's just fundamentally so different. If I see another woman naked, my wife's going to be like, I don't know why you saw her naked, but whatever. If I have sex with another woman, there's a bigger conversation happening. Like, There's a massively different tiers.
Agreed.
Okay, favorite moments?
I have 3. We already talked about I would ask how you are, but I already know you're terrible.
I have 3 as well. That does not include that, though.
Okay.
Policies in control.
That's really good. I like that.
Love that moment.
Karen Snake is named Long John Slither.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
That is the best name for a snake.
No, that's good. I agree with that. Greg's truth hammer.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Like, just all the lines that we got from that, the way he dresses them down.
What's it called? The whip.
What?
Wonder Woman has a whip that makes people tell the truth.
The lasso of truth. Well, no, that's different, though.
Because she's not bringing it down like a hammer.
No, the lasso of truth is me getting you to admit something. This was me dropping a truth hammer because I'm the one delivering the truth.
Okay.
But I do like that you thought of a Wonder Woman character. What's your last one?
Rebecca's oddly self-aware moment. Off the top of my head, I'd say low self-esteem, a lack of maternal affection, and a genetic predisposition for anxiety and depression.
Great moment. Great moment. Doesn't beat Father Brah.
Father Brah is really good.
A man who
and when he explains how he got to it.
Oh, yeah.
Father Joseph, Father Broseph, Father Brah, obviously.
I'm so glad you did that for me. And the fact that it's, like, popular. Yeah, no,
it made people come to church.
I mean, I'm not religious, but, like, if I was going to have to pick a priest, I want Father Brah.
I did not pick a favorite song. I didn't love it, either of them.
Yeah, my favorite song was None.
I do have a favorite line from one of the songs, though. In I Love My Daughter, I love when he says, he's talking about her getting married, and he says, I'll give her away. And then he says, not like I ever had her. What a weird thing to say. I totally agree.
Isn't that a thing, though?
It is a thing, and I think it's really weird.
No, I mean, like, isn't that a thing, though, that people are pushing against the idea that you give away your daughter? Like,
yeah, some people are.
Yeah.
But people still do it. I have 2 most ridiculous moments, one of which being Rebecca thinking having sex with Greg would make him forgive her.
I also have 2, and one of them was Rebecca trying to sleep with Greg.
And then my second one is the very on brand Rebecca not hearing Josh his full statement and then celebrating with Joyce at the end.
Yep, that is very on brand. I actually just had the song I'm a Good Person from the ridiculous... Because it kind of encapsulated the entire episode of just like, this concept was ridiculous. I mean, really, I think just the idea that she could redeem herself by an act of servitude to prove that she was a good person was hilarious. And then the song itself was like, yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, actually, there was another favorite moment when the little girl said, oh, you're bonkers.
You're bananas.
You're bananas, that's what it was. Oh, you're bananas.
Loser. I have 1.
Same.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
I do think that she figured it out. She did the right thing in the end. She had that oddly self-aware moment, but she does so much shit.
Did she figure it out in the end?
She helped them.
But in the end, she just
Oh, right. In
Josh.
the end, she just ignores Josh. Yeah, that's also a loser moment for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have 3 winners.
I also have 3 winners. I wonder if they're the exact same thing.
Maybe. Daryl.
Nope, not the same. Daryl's a good one, though.
He gets custody of his daughter.
Yeah.
And he sort of, like... It seems like he gets over the, like, animosity with his ex-wife so that they can, like, figure out how to co-parent together. So I think that's a good one. And he gets Rebecca to be his lawyer, finally, which he's been asking for a long time, actually. I don't know why real estate lawyers are serving as divorce lawyers. He must know divorce lawyers. I don't get it, but I guess Rebecca's doing it for free. So he's getting a free divorce lawyer. That's pretty good.
I mean, I don't know how much crossover there is in law.
That's like one of the things that they always make fun of movies for. Yeah. Like lawyers
can just do other types of lawyering.
Yeah. I mean, you learn a base understanding of most law in school.
But a dentist
and a lot of lawyers will volunteer like pro bono time in other types of law because they can give like generic advice or like tell you who to talk to or where to look information up. But like to represent someone in a court case in a law that you do not practice is very rare.
In fact, yeah, like my dentist went to med school, but I don't want him doing open heart surgery on me. Like that just doesn't seem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who's your first one? Second one?
Paula.
I also have Paula.
Paula definitely won here.
Yeah, she cleans up the office, and she also like kind of rather than just getting rid of Tim, which I mean he was doing a thing that's wrong, he was lying, whatever. But she like chooses to create an ally in the office, which is a really good choice for her. And she helps his family out. And someone washes her car.
Go wash my car.
Okay.
The only thing I would argue against Paula being the winner is that she essentially, instead of learning that the bullying was wrong, just flips it. So now they bully Jim.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is like, I feel like you're better than that.
I know there was a lot of bullying happening. In some of it, you're right, was justified. Yeah. Like, wake up, Karen. Like, sure. Do your job.
Absolutely. But the like making fun of Jim and just bullying him with Tim is like, you just wanted to be a mean girl as opposed to stop being the bullying.
Exactly. Which, to be fair, I don't think Paula is trying to say that she's trying to be a good person. No. Paula would definitely say, no, I obviously want to be the mean girl.
Yeah. And you know what? Good. Fine. Do your thing.
Despite having to wash Paula's car, I also chose Tim because he did not get deported.
Not getting deported is fair.
And he might inadvertently... I don't know, I guess he's still bullying people. But he might inadvertently become a better person by not being a dick. No? Okay, cool.
He's still bullying, though. He's just changed to his bullying.
I can't wait until we get to... He has a really good song.
Does he? Josh.
That's a good one.
Actually acknowledged that he had an issue, went to go seek help from a logical person to seek help from, and then came to a pretty solid and honest conclusion. Now... It doesn't get through to Rebecca.
Right.
But he tried. Like, he was like, hey, I like you, I'm attracted to you, but, like, I love Valencia and I want to stay committed. Good job, Josh. Now, it didn't solve anything, unfortunately. But still, I think that's a win.
No, I think that's good.
And we got some character depth from Josh.
Yeah. Was that all three for you?
No.
Which
Did you do all three?
Yeah.
Oh, the dropper of the truth hammer.
Greg.
Oh, yeah. I mean, performance-wise, he was fantastic. I also think that, like, he gained a little bit of understanding with Rebecca. Like,
yeah, that's the thing that worries me a little bit.
I think he's still always going to basically hope she'll settle for him, to call back to that song.
Yeah.
But I think that's unfortunately just an inherent part of who he is. Like he's a simp, unfortunately. He's sad and pathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'd be very curious if it ever flips where he finds someone who doesn't have him as the runner-up choice, and then of course Rebecca would be madly in love with him at that point. Mm-hmm. Like he needs to go date Valencia so that Josh and Rebecca can be together.
I don't think that Greg likes Valencia.
I don't think Rebecca likes Greg. That's not what the issue is.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, next time we are going to watch My First Thanksgiving with Josh.
Okay, so, A, why are you having Thanksgiving with Josh? Because you're not his girlfriend, so that's going to be fascinating. B, assuming you are meeting the parents, do the parents know the whole situation? Because I wouldn't be telling my mom those kind of things. That's weird.
About how...
Hey, here's this girl I dated in between dating Valencia in high school, but I have a thing for her, and I'm also still with Valencia, so I'm going to bring them both to Thanksgiving?
I would imagine they don't know the whole story.
Okay. Like... You don't bring your girlfriend and your ex-girlfriend to the same spot. That's just like basic guy rule number 2.
Yeah.
And he is making that mistake in front of his parents. Well, that's going to be a train wreck. I've heard about this song for a very long time. So this will be funny, I'm hoping. I'm very curious to see when we see, who's the neighbor?
Heather.
Like to see more Heather?
I'm not sure we'll get more Heather in this episode, but there is definitely a lot more Heather coming.
Good. Yeah, flesh out the friends more. I think that's my big thing. Like, I got enough Rebecca. I know who she is. I mean, I'd like to get more of the mom. Like, figure out why she's such a monster.
Episode 8 is called My Mom, Greg's Mom, and Josh's Sweet Dance Moves.
Yes. I mean, also, I need more angry, righteous Greg. This Greg is the Greg I like. Like, pissed off at the world, dropping truth bombs, less of a simp. Still a simp, but, like, more angry, less whiny.
Yeah, Greg's good at that.
Yeah. So, you know.
All right. Well, please be sure to to join us next time when we watch Season 1, Episode 6, My First Thanksgiving with Josh.
And we will see you next time.